Joining us now to discuss, Ayesha Wahab. She's part of the city council in Hayward, California, which made her the first Afghan-American woman ever elected to political office in the United States. She's a Democrat. Ayesha, thanks so much for joining us. Let me ask you, what are your conversations been like? What have they been like with your friends? And if you have family still in Afghanistan, are they going to try to evacuate? How are they?
Well, every single person is trying to leave the country. This is not only the American allies, but also everyday Afghans. They do not want a regime where the Taliban are in power, and the old 1990s Taliban specifically. The people that I've talked to specifically in Afghanistan via social media have stated that everything was shut down for roughly 9 days. Grocery stores, banks, they cannot access their funds. They cannot get funds. Leaving people hungry, leaving people desperate. People are actually fleeing the capital and going back to their region of origin, or disappearing and trying to pay human traffickers to get them out of the country, either through one of their neighboring countries. So there are a lot of Taliban soldiers in particular that are going from home to home to home in search of folks in particular. People are hiding, their lights are off, they're not leaving their homes, their windows are painted black, and they're in fear for their life. So that's kind of the makeup of what's happening in Afghanistan today.
You were part of a rally in Hayward, California last week. What are other members of the Afghan-American community telling you about what's going on right now?
The Afghan-American community here, the diaspora, which is one of the largest in the nation, specifically are looking to have their loved ones be able to come to the United States. If not loved ones, they want us to honor the promise to these individuals that supported American troops and American forces, and allow them to come to the United States with an expedited fashion. People's visas are being held up. The State Department is not answering a lot of the nonprofits that are requesting, information, what is going on, a status update. Even our Congress members are feeling the same way with their staff as well. So it's been difficult, and the situation ends up being there's a lot of pressure because people want to leave immediately.
Yeah.
We don't know what after August 31st is going to really look like for these people in Afghanistan.
Obviously, and we shouldn't have to underline this, but I think in American politics we do. The Taliban are the bad guys here. That's who is the evil force. But there's a lot of political finger pointing going on, and one of the signs at a rally you attended last week said, quote, "Afghan blood is on your hands, Joe." Not your signs, but a sign at the rally, presumably referring to President Joe Biden. Do you agree with that sentiment? As a Democrat who is no doubt loyal to President Biden, how do you feel about this when you hear President Biden blamed?
It's quite frustrating to see what's happening in the United States today. This is not a left or right issue. The extremism is not, conducive to what we're trying to do at this moment in time. We can point fingers all we want. We can debate whether we should have walked away in 2011 when bin Laden was killed in Pakistan, or later or earlier. That's not the point. We need to come together as Americans and understand what the objective is right now in this moment, which is basically we need to focus on how we can support our allies and how we can heavily lean into humanitarian aid and diplomacy now that President Biden has made the difficult decision to withdraw. These are reasonable critiques that we are hearing, but this withdrawal was negotiated with the previous president, and President Biden is taking responsibility, and everyone is counting on his leadership to fix a bad deal. Our international reputation is at stake, but more importantly, lives are at stake. Men, women, and children, including babies, will be starving, will be dying. And that's what, these people stand for, is that they actually stand for freedom, and they're going to be dying for it.